Hello, welcome back, my favorite movement enthusiasts, to today's session of core strength. If you're ready, let's get right in. The main function of our abs is spinal flexion as well as lateral flexion through our obliques, but also mainly stabilization. I want to get the easiest things out of the way first, starting by static exercises such as the plank. You can do many different plank variations, but the one that helps me the most is one where I go into spinal flexion and we want to actively flex our entire leg musculature, our core musculature, and lengthen our shoulders. We can go for a classic plank, like so. We can actively go into this spinal flexed or arched plank. We can go down on our elbows and lengthen our shoulders. If this is too hard, we can actually just work on our knees. Pull your legs in and start with very easy things. And over the course, you can start removing an arm with your legs closed, or to make it easier, with your legs open. Switch it up, of course, so you don't end up very imbalanced. The only thing to keep in mind, just so you're not cheating yourself out of the benefits, is you want to stay parallel with your upper body towards the ground. Then of course we have all the flexion exercises. We have crunches, which are the easiest and do not include our hip flexors. We have sit-ups, which also barely include our hip flexors, though their longer range of motion is going to require a little bit more strength. Putting our feet up a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Now you're going to notice when you want to sit up, you require a lot more hip flexor strength to pull you forward. I want to go the full range of motion, bring our hands down to the ground, flexing our abdominals entirely before we lay down, and repeat the entire movement once more. We can take the focus off our upper abdominals towards our lower abdominals, hands below our butt, legs extended, just so we don't fall into this spinal extension. We want to keep our back fully on the ground, and from here we can start easy once more. Get your head up here, pull in, very easy, pull up a little bit harder, and the more you sit up, and the closer you pull, and try and keep your legs from falling down all the way. This exercise is amazing at combining lower abdominal musculature with hip flexors and quad strength. As for rotational core exercises, the variations are myriad, and just using your own body weight can already be more than enough to activate your obliques as much as you can, but there are different ways to do that even more effectively. By adding resistance with a cable machine to work our obliques a little bit harder and more directly, while taking some of the pressure off the other musculature. Now we also have lumbar rotation here, of course. You can hold this statically, which requires a lot of static strength in your musculature on the side as well. And every now and then, when you notice that you're almost out of energy, you can release, take a deep breath in, come back forward and hold once more. Especially these asymmetrical movements are very good because we are not moving symmetrically, and we need to be able to fire those muscles and activate them at will. Which is why advancing our planks, for instance, with resistance band, you can hold them on your knees, or you can get them up here and start doing advanced exercises. Extend your arms, pull back, add some rotation and reverse for longer ranges of motion and for more required strength. Combining static holds, for instance, in the extension for 10 seconds, static holds in the flexion for 10 seconds, static holds in the rotation for 10 seconds, and reverse. If this is too much, work on your knees, work with a thinner band, and over time, try and get up here, and add all those movements to your repertoire for absurdly strong core musculature. Then of course we have two pieces of equipment that are gonna make this insanely more effective. The first one is the bar. You can start out with easy things such as knee raises asymmetrically as well as symmetrically, leg raises asymmetrically as well as symmetrically. You can also do leg raises and hold statically, and we can go into longer and longer ranges of motion holding the top. We're adding some grip strength as well. and reversing. If you have a lot of mobility, why not go into a complete skin the cat, where you go into complete rotations, because reversing that movement requires a ton of core strength, control, and adding this flexibility to our shoulders is an absurd benefit to get from an exercise that is usually targeted more on our core. Using the tinier and shorter lateral movements, for instance, or circular rotational movements, just like so, slowing it down, holding them at some point, and what's very important is to play around with these exercises to find your comfort zone, just so you know how to break through it, because if you're staying in your comfort zone, you're definitely doing something wrong when it comes to working strength in general. And the second piece of equipment that is gonna make us indestructible when it comes to core strength are kettlebells, which are absurdly diverse in their movements, especially stabilization movements like these, where we're working once again asymmetrically. You can add some one-sided lunges, you can add some one-sided farmer walks, and all of this is going to help your upper body and lower body learn how to stabilize your core through one-sided movements. You can go through lateral flexion and extension. Not to mention that you can add even more stress on your body by going through a combination of kettlebell and resistance bands, because the resistance band has variable resistance, meaning the more we move through a range of motion, the more pull we have and the stronger we need to be in our end range of motion. And that tiny bit of end range of motion is very important when it comes to busting through plateaus, when it comes to core strength and strength in general. And adding low weight movements with tiny kettlebells can also help us not only with the stabilization, but now we can add a little bit of arm strength, shoulder strength into our core movements, because once again, especially when doing a sport that requires our entire body, it's very nice to work in a way that simulates this sport. And if you don't have kettlebells, you can do these exercises with dumbbells or any sort of weight. I was gonna lose it right there. You can even fill up your backpack with water bottles, which is what I used to do when I was a little kid and I didn't have any weights at home to work out. Now I'm pretty sure I just gave you a repertoire of like 20 to 30 exercises that you can use to strengthen your core, so your core is not your weakest link. If you like the video and subscribe, and check out other videos on this channel, because we literally have new ones every single day. So until tomorrow, Captain Cairo, peace out.